really got Coventry going. There's the shot, it's another one! David Smith, 2 goals in 90 seconds. Nigel Spink, the hero of the first half, hits the ball out of the net again, and Villa are in deep trouble.
Good ball too, Donovan's got 3 again. Oh, what a goal! Two in the space of a minute for Kevin Gallagher.
On the Coventry left. Great goal. Dion Dublin. Classic header. No more than Coventry deserve. They've been knocking at the door and now they've found the way through.
It goes towards this. It's 1-0 to Coventry. The man in the mask has broken the deadlock.
Jamie Allen threads the ball through. Fantastic finish from Matty Gordon. Barely 90 seconds gone.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Sky Blue Fans TV. I'm Milesy, live from home, not out on the road tonight, so just gearing up ready for the old playoff semi-final on Sunday and hopefully on Wednesday if we can get all's being well and we get a ticket tomorrow. So before we start, we've got a couple of announcements to make. If you are looking for travel to the game on Wednesday, if you manage to get a ticket, then you can get your travel with the Sky Blue Tavern, and they will be leaving at 1:30 and the doors will be opening at 12 o'clock. You get a free meal and a beer as well, or whatever drink you want to have. So you get that included with the travel. So hopefully we'll see you on that coach. We might. I've heard it's an 87-seater, the first coach. And if that sells out, maybe we might have another one as well. So let's get on with the show. A lot to talk about. Massive, massive game on Monday just gone, which seen the Sky Blues enter into the playoffs. So let's speak to our regular and co-host as well. And he hosts on here and he does all sorts for the channel. Let's introduce Mark Smith. Good evening, Mark Smith.
Good evening, Miles. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're all well. Can you hear me, Miles?
All good, all good. The one and only Nation Radio presenter himself, Tony.
Good evening,
Good evening, Tony.
Good evening, Miles. Good evening, Mark. Good evening, everyone. How are we?
Hi, Tony.
Wow, what a ride!
All good, all good. And oh, what a ride. We'll talk about that in just a sec. And also, the one and only, he's come back from the World Cup. He's been going to the Sky Blues games while he's been back. I know he's really happy. I know he's over the moon. Let's introduce the one and only CJ Joyner. Good evening, CJ.
Hello. How are you all doing?
Hi, CJ. You okay?
All good.
I'm all good.
All good. Right, let's kick off the evening then. What an interesting day on Monday. I mean, it was... Oh, man. I mean, this was... I've just got to show you this. This was with 15 minutes to go. I was like that. I couldn't cope. It was like results were drawing, results weren't going our way, and I just felt like that. I mean, anyone else feel like that on Monday? Start with you, Mark.
Oh, very much so, yeah. The amount of times my wife was telling me to calm down and all that, and my heart was beating and all that, it was a bit ridiculous. I wasn't even there, so... But I'm pleased to announce I will be at Middlesbrough. Hopefully get that ticket for hopefully seeing the Sky Blues get to Wembley. So, no, but going back to your question, yeah, I was bloody nervous. Yeah, it was horrible. But I suppose looking back, it was never in doubt, wasn't it, really, when you think about it? Because we were never losing the game, were we? So, you know, it was all good.
All good, all good. And Tony, how are you feeling, mate? I mean, as I say, you just see the picture of me. The nerves were absolutely shot with 15 minutes to go, mate.
Well, if I told you the proper story, I will tell you the proper story, right? I'll tell you the proper story. Obviously, I made the decision not to go to Middlesbrough because I thought, well, you know what? The season's going to be over by then, right? And I'll take the hit. it wasn't. So I didn't get a ticket, so I had to watch it at home. So what I did, I watched the first half. I checked my phone, and it was in injury time. And when I checked my phone, because the phone's quicker than the internet, oh no, 1-1, and they were just about to take the corner as Archer swiveled on it and put it in the roof of the net. I couldn't, mate. I'm telling you, I'll turn the telly off. I could not bear it because obviously I had trouble years ago. I couldn't bear it, so I turned it off. I put Till Death Us Do Part on by Arthur Garnett. Right, that's how I dealt with it. Right, and then right, I mean I have watched the second half, but then at 10-5, I turns it on. I'm looking down the phone. All I see, I think I'm going to do this. Right, I go into BBC Sport. Boom. All I seen was 1-1, and I knew we'd done it. And then I thought, at no point during the game did we drop out the playoffs. Right, although we could have done obviously if Middlesbrough had got a second goal at some point, but it didn't happen.
Or Millwall could have got a goal. Yeah,
that is the way I dealt with it, and I'm a season ticket holder. Been a season ticket holder for years. Right, I go to, as you know, quite a few away games, and it was just too much pressure, as the special said. You know, it was like I don't.
It was hard work. Hard work.
Yeah, it's a better feeling than relegation battle, but you know.
CJ.
Yes.
CJ, how were you feeling, mate? Because you were there, weren't you? I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, I've just about recovered from the bruises and everything else that happened. Yeah, the boys did the business, didn't they? So we had our boys and also those brave boys in red down at Millwall. They certainly did us they certainly helped us out, didn't they? And what I said at the start of I said at the start of the previous week that draw for them at Luton was the big result, really, because it meant that they had something to play for and they couldn't overhaul us. So that was a big thing. But I think the lads up at Middlesbrough, they've played better than that this season, but there's no bigger result than they've had this season. So we're in the playoffs. I just can't quite believe it, to be honest with you. I know you can believe
It's
it, Mark,
unbelievable.
because you were saying it pre-season, weren't you? So yeah, but yeah, I wasn't so confident, I've got to say, but I wasn't so confident probably about 2 or 3 months ago. But I'm 2 or 3 weeks ago. But I'm certainly pleased I've been proved wrong.
Yeah. Well, we all have. I think a lot of people have been proven wrong going into October, bottom of the league, and we all thought it was all doom and gloom. Now, going on to the first half, Mark, what did you make to the first half performance? I thought we came out the starting blocks really, really well, and I think within the first 5 minutes of the game, we had a real good chance.
Yeah, I thought we played really well first half. I think obviously Gus Hamer should have scored. Well, probably should have passed it across with Matty Godden, who was unmarked for a simple tap-in. Instead of a shot, it was a decent save by their keeper. But that was a missed opportunity, and I thought, you look at the way Borough play, you notice that they try and play out from the back. Similar to how we play in some way, they like to try and play a passing game and pass their way through teams. But I thought our pressing was really good. And they didn't look particularly confident. It was a sort of game where we looked like a team where we wanted to win the game. We pressed really well, as I said. We got a deserved goal from Gus Hamer, really good shot across the keeper and the back of the net. And really, things were going really well until obviously their equaliser, where I think, having spoken with Jeff, who I go to games regularly with, made the point that it's actually our fans that kept hold of the ball. He was kind of delayed the corner kick, and then we fell asleep. Hamer probably put his hands up a little bit that he should have done better. He got caught out from the corner, and I think I can't remember if it was across it. I think it was I can't remember, but anyway, it fell to Archer, we just didn't quite close him down on time, and he hits it on the roof of the net. And disappointing, really, because I thought we were really good first half. I thought whether that's, I mean, it's hard to say Middlesbrough, because when I think when I'm looking ahead to the next two games, I'm thinking, were Middlesbrough playing second, third gear, or were we playing really well? I mean, obviously time will tell, but I thought we were a really decent side first half, and we didn't deserve to be drawing 1-1, that's for sure, because I thought Borough were poor.
I mean, CJ, in that first half, I mean, I noticed that Middlesbrough were
Still,
when they had a shot from the edge of the bar, they played a pass and they passed it to each other instead of having a shot. I mean, do you think that they were like just conserving themselves a little bit just to make sure no one got injured or anything like that? Because it did look that way to me, that when they got to the edge of the box, they could have probably had a shot and they didn't.
yeah, I think although they controlled the ball the first half and even more so the second half, I mean they had virtually all of it the second half. First half, I think it was something like 30% possession we had, something like that. But the important thing is, literally 99.9% of it, we did what mattered, where it mattered, and we were 1-0 up, weren't we? But I mean, you know, conceding like we did, like Mark said towards the end there, it was a bit of a sickener, really. The ball bouncing like over my left shoulder onto the advertising board and then back up. And to be honest with you, that wasn't really deliberate, because I mean, at the end of the day, if anybody in the crowd can land it like that 3 times running, I think they should be out there trying to play up front, really. But you know, I suppose at the end of the day, it added a few seconds. Yeah, you know, maybe I think the Hamer injury, that obviously added a little bit, didn't it? But I think overall they just seemed quite relaxed about the whole thing, and even more so in the second half. But in the first half, you could just see that to them it wasn't necessarily a training game. They did want to win it, I think, initially anyway. I think it did change later on. We can go on to that in the second half, but I do think they did make it a bit easier for us than what they could have, and. Yeah, they've clearly got very, very, very good players. They have good players on the bench. They have good players that can know that. There's 1 or 2 that I think are out at the moment. So, but it'll be a completely different game next week. The 2 games, they're going to give us a bit, a lot more of a game than what they did on Monday.
And Tony, coming to you, mate. I mean, we did start off really well in that first half, but have you ever seen us switch off like that? I haven't seen us switch off like that for a long time. Towards the end, and you know, I think was it McNally turned his back, walked away, and then they've passed the ball out from the corner, and the ball's come into the box. We literally just switched off. We haven't done that for us. Are you surprised at us switching off that?
For the goal, yeah. You know, but you know, I think they're thinking, well, you know, we get this over with. We're gonna the ref's gonna blow, and it's just that lack of concentration is what Mark Robins said. You know, and they put it in the net. But I do think the game changed after 5 minutes when we took the lead. We were all over them, and like they said, it should have been past the Godden. You know, that's the difference probably between the Championship and the Premier League. You'd have squared that, and bang, we're 1-0 up. But anyway, take nothing from Gus because he scored, but that changed the game then, because then we goes into away game mode. You can have the ball, break us down, we'll catch you on the break, and they played that way for the rest of the game. After they got the goal, whether Middlesbrough were a bit light, I'm not so sure they were light, because I think they had pride. They wanted to get the win, and it just goes to show we've got 4 points up on this season, as we have off Sunderland, and we drew twice with Luton. So there's no reason we're not going to go all the way and get into the Premier League. No, we can do that.
Well, yeah, definitely can do it. Mick Davenport's just popped up here. We were talking about how we were feeling Monday. He's put up, he was as cool as a cucumber. I don't believe that for 1 second.
Well done,
you
Mick.
guys?
Well
No
done.
chance.
Well done, Mick.
no chance in a million years. Now, listen. Going into the second half, we seen some half-time results. Millwall were winning, so that weren't going our way. Sunderland were drawing. I think at the time West Brom were winning as well against Swansea. So it was really, I think we'd dropped to 6th, if I weren't mistaken, at the time.
Yeah.
Going into half-time, we were still in there, but we were 6th. I mean, how were you feeling going into that second half when that whistle went, Mark? I mean, how were you feeling? Did you think it was going to happen, or I mean, what was you thinking all about when you were watching it?
Well, I mean, as a supporter, you're always a little bit worried, but it was at the end of the day, we weren't losing the game. The game was still in our control. So I looked at it from a positive angle of it's still in our hands. It's not like we're losing 2-0 and we've got to hope that our results are going to go our way. So yes, it was a little bit edgy. I'm not going to lie. Certainly when Sunderland started to score goals against Preston, then it got a bit edgy, a bit tetchy. But as the second half wore on, I just felt fairly confident because really I don't remember Wilson making many really good saves. A couple of shots that went straight under his nose, but you expect any goalkeeper to save that, really, even in park football, let alone championship football. So I thought overall we played really well. I think with the Borough, you know, where they put their foot on the gas or not. What you have to remember with Borough is they haven't won for a while. They lost it against Rotherham. And they want to win the game because they want to go into the playoff with a bit of momentum, and they haven't done that. And that's one thing we have done. We've got a little bit of confidence out of that game. We know they're a good side, but the bottom line is we've got nothing to fear now. Now we're going to the playoffs. We know we're playing a side that we know a bit about. We know they're a good team, but we're a good team as well. We've got good players, and if we play to how we can play, I think we can definitely stand toe-to-toe Borough, and I think we can beat them. We've got to believe in ourselves. I thought from what I saw from the game on Monday, we've got that bit of belief there. That bit, I feel we've got the game to compete with the sides in the other, sides around us, and we shouldn't fear anyone. But yes, it was a bit nerve-wracking. I'm not going to lie, as a supporter, but I thought the players acquitted themselves really well, and then obviously in the end, results did go away because Millwall on a Tottenham Hotspur and bottled it, so that was good.
Yeah, and CJ, Borough came out the blocks quite fast in the second half, didn't they? They did apply the pressure straight from the off, really, didn't they? There was a few nervy moments where Ryan Giles, his crossing in the second half was absolutely sublime, wasn't it? The way that ball was in. We always look at Bidwell and he floats it, and you sometimes say just drive it in, and Ryan Giles does that, doesn't he? He drives that ball in from the wing. They really tried to put the pressure on in the second half, didn't they?
They did. I was very impressed with him. Very impressed with him as a bloke, to be honest with you, because he came right up to us at the end, didn't he? And he applauded our fans, and it's something that there was a few of our fans booing him, throughout, which I thought was a bit strange because I think he was quite professional when he played for us, and more professional than some of the players that actually belonged to us down the years. But I think he was very good. I thought that they had a lot of. They had quite a few chances there in that early second half. They put the pressure on, and we withstood it quite well, really. Maybe got a bit lucky from time to time, but what I would say is it was around about the hour mark. Carrick was just like, okay, calm down, and that's when Sunderland scored their second goal. Now, I don't think they wanted to play Sunderland in that second game in the playoffs. In the semis, I don't think they wanted to. So, I'm not saying that they're, but obviously that means they're playing us. But I don't know. It just seemed that way, that they seemed to back off after that hour, and it just coincided with Sunderland scoring the second. So I don't know whether that had something to do with it. But the last half an hour of that half was completely different to the first 15 minutes. I thought that we didn't do a massive amount, but neither did they. We let them control the ball, they had even more of the ball in the second half. I think we had something like 20% of the possession the second half, something like that. It was that different, you know. So, but ultimately, I think we still had actually more chances. But even so, I think they were quite happy with the point. It became apparent, but it did surprise me a little bit that, similar to what Mark says, that they didn't really go for it, because you need to get in that winning habit, don't you, with the playoffs coming up, and yeah, it just seems a bit strange to me. I thought they would go for it. They've got nothing to lose, have they, by going for it? So, you know, at the end of the day, if we would have put 2, 3, 4 past them, you know, and they had a right go, they would have actually known more about us going into the game after. So, but yeah, it did seem, like I said, I don't think they wanted to play Sunderland. A lot of the fans seem to not wanting to play Sunderland. Mainly probably before the game they didn't want them in the playoffs, but that might have had something to do with it. But yeah, it just seemed it seemed like how it was for me, that they were happy with the point.
Yeah. Now, Mark, they couldn't cope with Vic's part of the first half and some of the second half. Vic had a couple of chances in the second half. There was a lovely move Vic did down the left-hand side, and instead of having a shot where I think he probably should have had the shot, when everyone says, oh, he's too greedy, so he needs to pass, he did try and lay it back to Godden, and the defender cut it out. But they did struggle at times to cope with Big Vic, didn't they, on Saturday? Compared with, Vic's performance paired with Akpon's performance, I thought was a lot better. I mean, your thoughts on that, on the two?
Yeah, I thought Vic had a good game. He's been like that all season, though, isn't he? A lot of defence have struggled. They've struggled to cope against him. And Akpon, yeah, an okay game, but it's like Middlesbrough. I think they didn't. Nothing from what I saw frightens me, but that's credit to us. I thought we were really good. But yeah, Gyökeres had a decent game, and it's not really about what happened, on Monday. It's about the next two games. That's the most important thing. So let's hope that we can keep it up for Sunday and Wednesday, and with Sunday on the horizon, it's important that we can't win the game in the first tie, but we can certainly lose it. We can, as I think Glenn mentioned in our WhatsApp chat today. So, and he's right, because it's a kind of game you don't want to be looking at Middlesbrough and being 2-0 down going to second leg. So it's what these are the times now as players. You look at Gyökeres, who's been linked with clubs like Wolverhampton Wanderers and whatever other Premier League clubs.
Everyone.
Everyone, yeah. If you go on social media, every sort of lower, like mid-table below Premier League club wanting services, but this is the time he needs to deliver. If he can deliver and get us up to the promised land of the Premier League, then it'd be worth every penny to a club that may want him. I hope we can keep him even. But no, he had a good game. He did well. He probably not his best game, but yeah, he caused his problems. There's no doubt about it. I think Middlesbrough defensively look vulnerable to me. I'm hopeful that we can take advantage of that next two games. But the bigger picture is they haven't won a few games. We've been unbeaten in 17 games, I think. So
17 lost once in 17.
Once in 17. So
yeah.
We're going to the game of confidence. We shouldn't be fearing them, as I said earlier. So, let's go for it.
Yeah, and Tony, I want to ask you this one, mate, because this goes on to Saturday because Bidwell played. Do you think we should play with Bidwell again for the home tie to keep their right back quiet, or would you play Wilson Esbrand to try and go more attacking and to get the win? What would you do in that situation? I thought Bidwell had a pretty good game on Saturday, and I think he's had probably the last 8 games he's been, when he's played, he's really, really stepped up to the mark, and he really looks hungry enough to get us into the playoff final.
You took the words out of my mouth, Miles, because I was just going to say that he played brilliant for the last couple of months and the last few games. So I don't think you can take him out on his performance at the moment. Although I do think that with that crowd behind us, they've only gave, I think, Middlesbrough 2,000 tickets. I've got a feeling we could have a landslide in this first leg, because if it goes right in the first 10 minutes, you could end up being 4 or 5. I really believe that. And this might be the game that everything clicks into gear, and it's bang, 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 bang. That's what I just can't see us getting beat on Monday, and I just think we're going to blitz them. I actually think we'll go into that second leg with at least 2-goal lead, right? And then come and break us down, Middlesbrough, in the second leg. So I just think the Wave. I just can't see anything else but a Coventry win on Sunday. So there's a different story.
Yeah, and CJ Bidwell is improved, doesn't he?
Yeah. I mean, he's always been pretty solid. Pretty solid left back for Championship level. I do think if we next season, it's probably a position we want to really strengthen. I wouldn't be moving him on. I think we need his experience, and we need his. He can come in and do a job. But I think next season, if we do want to progress, we should be looking to have him as like the number 2, really. But at the end of the day, going into next season, it's his shirt. It's his shirt to lose. He's been part of a team that's towards the top of the league, and regardless of whoever we bring in, don't matter who it is, we bring them in, and that they've got to get the shirt off him, as far as I'm concerned. But I think he's been decent the last few games. He's been pretty solid, and I personally have him there every single game, regardless of what sort of game plan we're going to play from the start. Anyway, I think Wilson Esperan coming off the bench with that energy and what he can do, I think that's what I would be doing myself against tired legs. I think he would. I think that's more beneficial to us, having him coming off the bench and doing that, than kind of the other way round, if you get what I mean. Because I think Bidwell could just play all day. We've got a few players like that who could just run all day. So, but that's how I'll play it anyway. Maybe give him 15, 20 minutes, depending on how the game's going.
Yeah. Now, I've got a lovely comment here. I love this comment. This is brilliant. This is all the way from America. Mark Reed. He was watching in his office in Houston, and when Hamer scored, he shouted goal at the top of his voice. And this was followed by people knocking on his office door, making sure he was okay. I mean, that's just brilliant, isn't it? I don't know what time of day it was in Houston, but I mean, that's just fantastic, isn't it? That people all around the world are watching that game last Monday, and they're all going to probably tune in this week as well. And I know there's some people in Australia that are going to watch it as well. Now, I mean, here's a question for you, Kelly, Mark Kelly. Do we keep him as a squad team player? Do we keep him? Because I believe that he's helped. I believe he's helped Ben Sheaf and Josh Eccles, I think, on the training pitch. I think he's been a big influence for those guys. I mean, would you keep hold of Kelly?
Yeah, I'll keep holding after the season, if that's your question. I guess the other question is, do you start him in the playoffs? That's another question. You've got Ben Sheaf, who's obviously back, who's on the bench. Jamie Allen. These are interesting questions to ask as well. But Kelly's been fantastic. His performances have been really, really good. And I think, in my opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if Robins does move him on. My personal opinion, I would keep him maybe for another season. But he's been brilliant for us. He's done the job very well. He wins tackles. He does the ugly work really well. He plays. His passing's really good. So yeah, I would keep him. I'd probably start him in the playoffs, because I thought he was excellent at Middlesbrough, in my opinion.
Mick Davenport's come in here. Says Kelly needs to play. He's been immense in the last 3 games. CJ, agree with that? I mean, I think he's when he come off the bench the other week. I think it was at Blackburn. He come off the bench and he really threw his body around. It's superb, isn't he?
you know what? It reminded me of when we brought Henderson on for that. Was it the USA game? I think it was in November, and everyone seemed to be on the socials and stuff. Yeah, what are we doing that for? But we brought him on, and immediately he progressed us forwards. Kelly, it reminded me of that a little bit. The Blackburn game did. He made one or two mistakes. There was one or two errors there, but he hasn't played for a long time. I don't know how many games he's been out for. Probably half the season since he last played for us. Before that point, and he was, I thought he was very good. He's very solid. He got us moving forwards, and yeah, I think, and he deserved his start the next game, and look what he did, and look what he's done since. I personally would keep. I said a few weeks ago, I thought it was probably time. Him and one or two others, I thought it'd be time to kind of move them on. But I think I'd love to see him stay. I'd love to see him stay, especially get promoted. You know, to do that, to kind of go from where he was relegated out of League Two, to come and sign for us, and then first time of asking, playoffs, couple of seasons, champions. Well, a season and 2/3, wasn't it? Champions, and then 3 seasons and potentially playoff winners into the Premier League. You can't begrudge him. And the other thing is as well with it is, I think we need to look at the bigger picture. It depends what he wants to do. If Robbins was to say to him, look, I'm happy for you to come. You might only play 10 games, Kels. You might only play 10 games, Liam. But ultimately, you're going to be in with the 23s. We're gonna play the 21s. You're gonna play with the 21s. You're gonna be that kind of like that ambassadorial role, that pastoral role. You're gonna bring players on, similar to what Jody Jones was doing actually before he left us last season. And the way how he could bring on the next Eccles, like you said, and I mean, Sheaf was a ready-made player when we signed him, wasn't he? Really. You could tell where he'd been. You could tell he'd been in Arsenal. So, but Eccles definitely, like you said, Miles. And I spoke to Sheaf briefly at the awards night, and I said to him, I said, you've been class when you played for us, but it says it all that even you are going to struggle to get back in this team. I personally think it's not a foregone conclusion. You get back in this team, and that says it all. That one of our best players can't necessarily get back in. And partly due to somebody who's barely played this season, walked into the team and just been absolutely superb. And I said that's a testament to Kelly, really. And as I said, let's see him stay, especially if we get promoted, and he can be like our, I don't know, how long was Matt Ritchie at Bournemouth? I think he was definitely there in League One. I don't know if anybody did it at for Jimmy Hill, went right through the leagues. I don't know. I think there might have been one or two, but yeah, just for that story, and also for what he can actually bring into that dressing room and for the rest of the team as well.
Yeah. And Tony, I'm going to ask you this one. Glenn's popped in here. Says Kelly has been superb the league game. He starts on Sunday, and he may well earn a new deal. I mean, he has been immense. Do you agree what Glenn said there? He starts Sunday.
No, I don't think he'll start Sunday. I think he'll be on the bench, and Ben Sheaf will be installed Sunday for the big clash with Middlesbrough. I think you'll find Sheaf will be back on Sunday. Kelly depends if we don't make it to the Premier League and sign him on. I think he'll move him on if we get to the Premiership, because I don't think Kelly's a Premiership player. But having said that, he's been immense for us the last 3 games. He's been brilliant for us, but I do think he'll start with Sheaf. He'll start with Sheaf on Sunday. I believe that.
Okay. Right. What we're going to do? We're going to go to a short break, and then we've got Dana coming on from the Borough breakdown. It was there. I was thinking about that before even coming on. Borough breakdown. She'll be on in a minute. She's laughing down in the bottom corner here. Bless her. So we'll get on very shortly. We're just going to go to a quick ad break. Then we'll talk to Dana, and then we'll come back, show some more pictures for Monday, and we'll talk about where we think we're going to end up, if we're going to do it or if we're not. So We'll go for a quick ad break. We'll be straight back. So, welcome back to Sky Blue Fans TV. I'm Milesy. I'm joined tonight by Mark Smith, CJ Joyner, and Nation Radio Coventry, Tony Swideck. Now, just before we carry on, just a couple of messages. You've just seen Dylan's and Sky Blue Tavern there in the adverts. They will be showing the games on Saturday, so you go down to the tavern, have a meal before the game or after the game when you've watched it down there, or you could go down to Dylan's, soak up the atmosphere down there as well. And then you'll probably hear the fans in the ground while you're sitting in Dylan's watching the game. And then all the fans will come and join you after the game as well. So you can pop down there. Also, it's just been announced that it is a sellout. So everything is sold out now at the CBS Arena. So it's absolutely going to be buzzing and rocking. I can't wait for that. And then if you are planning on getting your tickets tomorrow for Middlesbrough away, if I don't get one, I'm going to go mental because I haven't missed a game this season. If I miss that one, I'm just going to cry my eyes out. But yeah, if you want to coach travel, there is an 87-seater going from the tavern. Doors open at 12 o'clock on Wednesday, 1:30. They are thinking about putting a second coach on. If they do that, I will be looking after the second coach and we'll have a quiz. If that's the case, which pass the time away, the 3.5-hour drive. So let's get to our next guest. Where is she? She's waiting in the rings. Here she comes, the one and only Dana. How are you? From the Borough Breakdown.
Yeah, it's been it been 3 days. It's been since I was last on here. We should have known, shouldn't we? We should have known that we'd meet again. But yeah, I'm all right. How are you guys?
Very good, very good, very good. Just one disappointment with Middlesbrough. Very disappointed with Middlesbrough. I've been twice now in 2 seasons. I collect fridge magnets. No fridge magnets. What is going on? Come on!
I tell you what, Miles, you need to go to Saltburn for that, I think. Saltburn's probably the one that'll sell those little tidbits there rather than Borough.
Yeah, but I want a Middlesbrough football club fridge magnet.
You know what? I'll get onto them. I'm part of the supporters forum now, so I'll get onto them for you.
Get on it, because I need one. Even Swansea haven't got any. I've been there twice. Unbelievable. So listen, I mean, what did you make to Monday? Tell us.
Yeah, you know what? I thought you were really good. You lot were really good in that first half. Really, really aggressive. I thought you looked really good on the counter attack. And Borough were a bit sloppy. We were a bit sloppy in possession. I think we sort of played into your hands a little bit. You know, you quite like to let teams have possession. You are very, very good on the counter attack. I had a look, and you've scored 9 goals from counter attacking situations, which is second only to ourselves. So we are also very good on the counter attack. But yeah, I thought in the second half we looked after the ball a lot better, and it kind of petered out a little bit. I thought in that second 45, both teams seemed like they were content with how the scores were. And I must admit, when I saw or heard the raucous Coventry fans to the left of me all celebrating, I honestly thought that there was a situation in which, of course, Coventry were pretty much nailed on for the playoffs, but also that Sunderland were not in there. So I'm a little bit annoyed that when I actually looked at the top 6, that Sunderland were still in there, because I think we've got that joint dislike of Sunderland. So, yeah, I was a bit gutted that they got in, but it is what it is.
Sky Blue Sam's popped up here. He's put Dana is happy Borough aren't playing Sunderland in the playoffs. Do you reckon that we were just talking a minute ago, reckoning that the last 15 minutes or 20 minutes, Carrick sort of went just calm it a little bit, and do you think they thought that Sunderland weren't going to make it, or that they knew they were making it but didn't want you guys to play them in the playoffs?
I don't know. I think the message probably got out about certain things going on, but I felt like Borough just didn't want to overstretch themselves. We have had a lot of injuries of late, and I think it was probably one of those occasions in that second half where they just didn't want to pull a muscle or anything like that, because we have had a lot of injuries of late, and to have another few on top of the ones that we've already got going into the playoffs would have been terrible. So, yeah, I think they were just content with how things were rather than necessarily looking at Sunderland. Although it would have been great if there was a situation where, I don't know what the permutations were, but I think if we had have won that game, we would have played Sunderland, wouldn't we? So, I don't know. But there is a situation potentially where we could meet them in the final, which would make me feel physically sick. So, I mean, we've got to get past you guys first, which is going to be tricky. But yeah, I'm annoyed that they're in the top 6, but I'm quite happy that we're not playing them yet.
They just got in there, didn't they? But I mean, Glenn's asking, does Dana think Smith and McNair will start on Sunday, as Vic caused lots of issues down the right flank? I mean, he did cause a little bit of trouble on Monday. Obviously, I think both teams weren't at full pelt. I think a lot of them didn't want to get injured. But do you think he caused enough trouble down there for them to start?
I don't know our injury situation in regards to Dale Fry, because if Dale Fry is fit, then he will probably take the place of Paddy McNair. But everything just seems generally up in the air regarding Fry and certain other injuries as well. I think Smith has definitely earned his place over the course of the season. His deputy or the potential substitute there is Anthony Dijksteel, who probably has a little bit more recovery pace to be able to deal with Gyökeres one-on-one. But I do think that McNair and Smith will keep their place. They did well, I thought, against them. They marshalled him pretty well. He still looked dangerous one-on-one against them. You know, he's got unbelievable close control, good pace, good dribbling ability as well. He's just the complete forward, I think, Victor Gyökeres. And I think for any defender, central defender, fullback, it'll be difficult to try to marshal him. But I think we did quite well on Monday. So I do expect them to keep their place, both Smith and McNair.
I mean, we were praising as well about Ryan Giles's crosses on Monday, especially the second half. He was really whipping that ball in. He was really causing a few issues for us. I think last week you said that he had an injury. Was it a calf or was it Achilles? I can't remember which one.
I think it was a calf.
Which one was it? He did it in training.
Yeah, he picked up a knock before I can't remember what game it was. I've lost track of everything now. Time, games, I don't know. But yeah, he picked up a knock in training, but thankfully he was okay to play.
Could you tell that he picked up a knock? Was he on? Sorry, go on, CJ. Yeah, carry on, CJ.
Dana, is Dijksteel out for the playoffs as well? Is it because he got straight red, didn't he? Is that a 3-game or is it a 1-game?
No, it was just a 1 game. It was a professional foul, and it should never have been a sending off anyway, because he wasn't last man. Keith Stroud did what Keith Stroud does, and he made a really bad decision.
Keith Stroud, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He's quite popular amongst our fans. He seems to give us quite a lot, actually. So
it's terrible, honestly. You know, we always talk about bad referees in the EFL, but he's probably the worst. Like, I don't want to go in on a person because, you know, let's remember he's a human being, but like, you can't be that bad at your job consistently as well. But yeah, just a 1-game ban, so he'll be back for the playoffs.
So yeah, as we were just talking about Ryan Giles, I mean, did he look like he had the injury, or is that how he's played all season? What we've seen on Monday?
No, I don't think he looked like he had an injury. We didn't really give him the ball too much in that first half. In the second half, we switched it, which was the outlet for us, because you were committing so many players in our right hand side. Potentially targeting McNair and Smith. Although I have come to learn that Gyökeres does like that left hand side anyway. Our left hand side was left exposed because of that, and it worked in our favour in the second half because we were able to switch the play, get those long diagonals over to Ryan Giles, and I think that's probably important, or going to be important, in the 2 games in the playoffs. So no, it didn't look like he had an injury. No.
Just talking about the playoffs, actually, you brought that one up. Is Simon? There's two comments here, and they both coincide with each other. So Simon Wells was put in here. What's Dana think of Borough's away form?
Oh, I think I might have lost Miles.
And then it goes on to right, there we go. If it comes up, here you go. How big a concern is Borough's away form and lack of clean sheets? Will Borough set up not to lose on Sunday, or have a go and try and kill Cov off in the first leg? So they both coincide with each other, those two.
Yeah, our away form is middle of the pack. I believe we're 9th in the away league table. We've only actually drawn 2 games this season away from home, so it's either we win or we lose. I think there's only 5 teams actually that have won more than us on the road, but on the flip side, there's only 5 teams that have lost more than us on the road. So our away form is really weird. It's quite wobbly. I expect Borough to set out to win the game. I think that's the way that we've played under Michael Carrick. We are not a defensive side. It is definitely not our strong suit. A lot of the goals that we've conceded of late, it does feel like we're not really getting the rub of the green, in the sense that there's just so many ricochets that seem to be in the build-up to certain goals, where I'm just sat there thinking, well, there we go. It's just typical of the goals that we keep conceding. But we will set up to probably try to kill the game off as quickly as we can, which could potentially play into your hands because you are such a good team at picking the ball and countering. We saw that within the opening probably 2 minutes of the game on Monday, where Gus Hamer had a really good shot. Zach Steffen made a really strong save, and I think that you could potentially pick us off there. But we are such a good team at scoring in bursts, and if that happens, then yeah, you could be in trouble there, because we are we have been a hot attacking unit this season that we can kill a game off pretty quickly.
Do you think, I mean, it was quite an intimidating crowd on Saturday at Middlesbrough. Your fans to the left of the goal from where we are very loud, although you need a song to get the fans singing. Not like us, we don't need a song, we just sing for the hell of it, because that's what we like doing, and we wake up the next day and we can't even talk. But I mean, do you think that the players could feel a little bit intimidated coming out to a full CBS arena? I mean, we don't know how our players are going to react, because we're going to have home fans behind both goals. You're going to have a little segment just to the right of the left-hand side as we look at it from the opposite stand from the main stand. So do you think that the players are going to feel a little bit intimidated on Sunday, at 12 o'clock?
I would like to hope not. I think they can probably feed off the atmosphere and maybe just channel it out. I mean, there will be Borough fans there that will be loud and raucous in their own corner. So I don't know. I think if you're a professional footballer and you get intimidated so much by crowds that it affects your performance, then especially in the playoffs anyway, you're probably not ready for that sort of level, because you are going to, well, you're competing essentially for a ticket into the Premier League, in which you have to go to Wembley, the home of football in this country. So yeah, if you're intimidated by a playoff semi-final, then you're probably not made. You're not made of the right stuff to be in the final. So I think they'll probably channel it and try to use it to their gain rather than their disadvantage.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the question for you. So if you do beat us over 2 legs, who would you like in the final, Luton or Sunderland?
Yeah, it's difficult because Sunderland would absolutely wreck my nerves. I'd need so many drinks before watching that football match if that happens. I don't like the tactical matchup between ourselves and Luton because I think they're probably better suited to knock out football, and they've probably just got that nastiness that can disrupt a game and disrupt a game plan. But because they're not Sunderland, and probably have to say Luton, I don't think my nerves can stomach Sunderland at all.
Let's ask our guys the question, shall we? Mark, Luton or Sunderland in the final if we beat Middlesbrough over the 2 legs?
That's an interesting question for me, being from a Southern-based Coventry City fan. Bearing in mind, I live not too far from Luton. I know a couple of Luton fans. It'd be quite nice to get one over them in the final. But equally, I'd like to get one over Sunderland, obviously for obvious reasons. That, as Damien will agree, we share our dislike of them. So I don't really care, really. I just want to go to the Premier League. So the answer is I don't care.
Good answer.
CJ? Good answer, yeah. CJ?
Well, I think it'd be harder to beat Luton. However, I suppose you've got to weigh it up, haven't you? When it comes to our friends in the north, what's greater, the thought of beating them, or the despair of losing to them at Wembley? In the final with such a massive, what a prize it'd be as well. So what you're playing for there. So I think, to be honest with you, I'd rather just play Luton. And just on the day, if they beat us, they beat us. But we've proven we can beat any team. We can beat any team in this league. So, almost any team in this league. Middlesbrough, you look like you were probably going to finish second for a little bit. I did think you were going to overhaul Sheffield United, but
same at one point.
We took 4 points out of you. So. Sunderland took 4 points out of them. We only took a couple of points out of Luton, but it was 2 games that, 2 draws there. So, I'd much rather play Luton in that game.
Tony, question to you: Luton or Sunderland in the final if we beat Middlesbrough?
Sunderland, definitely. When was the last time they beat us? Come on, we've got 4 points. We took 4 points off on this season, including Gyökeres' brilliant strike. First game of the season, I think it was July the 30th. I stayed in the hotel by their ground, or whatever it was called, for 2 days. They've never beat us. I just think I wouldn't want to play Luton. I think Sunderland, we can beat them, no problem. I'll take Sunderland all day long.
All day long.
Yeah, all day long. I
think for me, who would I want? Well, I don't want Luton, that's for sure. I'm sick to death of that team. I can't cope with it. I'm just fed up with them. I've had enough of Luton. I mean, imagine their ground in the Premier League. I mean, come on, it's an absolute joke, isn't it? It really is. You've got to go through someone's back garden to get into the ground. I mean, what's that all about? And then the toilets are in someone's back garden. The burger counters in someone's back garden. Oh, I don't know. It's just, it ain't right, is it? It ain't right, is it? To be honest with you, is it, Dana? It's not right, is it? Going through someone's back garden to get into the ground, is it?
I haven't had the pleasure of going, but it is. It's
you don't want to.
Something.
You don't want to go there, Dana. You don't want to go there.
No, you don't want to. No, you don't want to. Honest. You've missed one there.
3rd of February 2007, last time they beat us.
Yeah. It's a long time ago. Nearly 20 years ago.
No, I mean, literally, right, Dana, right, you walk down the side of the ground. It's like a little alleyway. It's about as wide as my laptop. That you walk down this alleyway and you're stepping over rubbish, you're stepping over rats. You're stepping over all sorts of things in that down. Oh, it's bloody awful. Even the streets, when you're walking down the streets, it's awful.
It does look like it would have a few rats around there, to be fair. And I'm not just talking about their
Oh, it's
fans.
horrible.
What?
Yeah,
Ain't
it's
the,
shocking. Right. Go on,
ain't
Tone.
it crime capital, isn't it? At the moment, Luton. He knows. He knows.
It's just,
Michael knows.
it's just. I think it's been voted the worst town in England. So yeah. So there you go. It's one of those. So anyway, going on to Sunday's game. Sunday's game. It's massive. Now, Dana, I will say, I think you've got the upper hand this week because we're not very good at early kickoffs. In fact, we're bloody awful. So no, we're terrible. Early kickoff. They're still in bed, our lot. I tell you.
So
honest, they
is
really
there
are.
like a record? Is there like a really bad record that stretches like quite far back, or is it just this season?
No, it's just this season, really. Last season we did all right against Fulham, didn't we? That was an early kickoff, but yeah, we're awful. We're absolutely awful. They're still in bed. They're still in bed, honest. I think they're going to have a really early night, Saturday night. Well, they better do anyway. Now, listen, we're going to go on to Sunday's game. It's rated. Away tickets go on sale tomorrow. You've got 2,000 tickets. We've got 2,000 tickets. We're going on to score predictions. So we're going to start. We'll come to you last, Dana, if that's all right. We're going to start with Tony. Give us a score for Sunday.
Right, if they start off like they usually do, they start off like they did against Birmingham, we could get a half up, to be fair, because the attacking at the CBS is if Middlesbrough aren't on song, we could soon be 3 up like we were against Swansea. I'll go for the score on I think 2-0 Coventry. I think 2-0 Coventry on Sunday, and then Middlesbrough get 3 to beat us. So. Yeah, 2-0 will suit me. Okay. I think 2-0.
Brilliant. Okay. CJ?
2-1 to us.
2-1. Wes has come up with that one. Yeah, Wes has got that one. 2-1. Akpon and Vic and Walker, 91st
Your
minute.
favourite player.
Walker scored. He is. He is. I love him. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. Now, Glenn has asked the question. Where's it gone? Are you going to sit on the fence, Mark?
Well, I don't want to jinx it, but I'm going to sit on the fence this one as well. Yeah, I agree. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw again because I like a 1-1 draw. And we got a 1-1 draw at Middlesbrough. But what I will say, I think Middlesbrough will be a much different side to the team that we saw on Monday. I think that, with none of any illusions, I think Middlesbrough, in my opinion, weren't playing in top gear. I think they were probably about 3rd or 4th gear. So I expect it to be a harder game. And I think it's all about who gets the first goal. Because whoever gets the first goal, I think, will have a big say on the outcome, possibly even of the two. What we can't afford to do, however, is lose. If we lose by a couple of goals, it's going to make it very tough. So I think it's important that it's a game where if we don't win, we don't lose the game. So I think it'll be a much harder game, but I'm going to sit on the fence again, 1-1.
Okay. And Dana, I've been asked, are you coming on Sunday?
Unfortunately not, no. I was there for the reverse fixture when Gyökeres scored, and I'm scarred still from the goal that we conceded from our own throw-in. So, yeah. I mean, I couldn't get any tickets anyway because I unfortunately fell below the belt of the priority points. But, yeah, it's probably a good thing that I'm not going because I'll probably jinx it. By simply
What were your priority points? But just... What was the starting priority points?
The first one was 220, which effectively is people that have gone to pretty much every single away game this season and probably have a season card. Then it went to 200 after that, then 190, then 180, then 170. So it kind of went down there. But I was on 180 and wasn't able to get any. So, it probably was one of those where the ones that have gone to most of the away games this season, probably do deserve to go.
Yeah. Okay. And give us a score then, Dane.
You know what? I'm going to echo Mark here and say 1-1. I keep saying when talking about this game, if we can't win, do not lose. And our away form is a bit patchy, as I said. We've only drawn twice away from home, so I'm going with our third draw on our travels this season. And we've actually picked up the most points from losing positions this season. So if Coventry do get an early goal, or maybe an early 2 goals, I wouldn't say that the game's done, because Borough are such an attacking unit that we can bring it back. So it is going to be a fantastic, fascinating game, hopefully anyway. But I'm going to go with 1-1.
1. Okay, no problem at all. Well, I'm going to go. It's not going to be another Notts County. It's not going to be another Notts County game. I think we're a different team to way back in League Two, which we know. Otherwise we wouldn't be in the Championship. We wouldn't be in the playoffs where we are now. I think that we're quite strong if we start the game really, really quick off the mark, like we did on Monday at Middlesbrough. I think if we come out the traps really, really fast, I think we'll probably sneak this one. I think I'm going to go for a 1-0 on this one. It's going to be tight, but I think I'll go for 1-0. First legs are always tight, but I just think we're going to edge it, and then it's just going to be one hell of a nervy night up in Middlesbrough next Wednesday. As long as I get my ticket tomorrow. Tell you, if I don't get my ticket, I'm going to go mad. But yeah, 1-0. 1-0, we'll go for it. So. Right, we're going to let you go now, Dana, because we're going to bore you. Otherwise, we'll bore you because we've got a load of photos to go through, some comments from our listeners and watchers. Thank you so much for coming on. You come on last week. Thanks again for coming on. I watched your show yesterday on my lunch break at work. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. So,
thank you.
Well done for your show. Give yourselves a plug if anyone wants to watch you.
Yeah, so we just dropped our post-Coventry pods, a good little tactical analysis on you guys if people are interested in that. We're on YouTube, the Borough Breakdown podcast. We're on Twitter, Borough_Breakdown. We're on Facebook and Instagram as well. We're pretty much on every podcast provider bar SoundCloud. So yeah, give us a listen, give us a watch, and let us know what you think about a little tactical analysis, deep dive on the Sky Blues.
Brilliant. Well, thanks again for coming on. Enjoy the game on Sky, because I'm sure for 25 minutes before kickoff they'll just talk about Middlesbrough and not bother talking about us, because that's what Sky do. So
Michael Carrick's Middlesbrough.
So just enjoy the game, and might bump into you next week if we get our tickets.
Yeah, thank you guys. Hopefully you get your ticket, Miles. Take care, everyone.
Cheers, Dan.
Cheers. Take care.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Bye.
To that. Oh, that's brilliant, wasn't it? That was ace, that was. Right, let's get some comments in and we can have a little chat between ourselves. Let's have a little look at here. So we've got we live, die in these towns. Didn't manage to get a ticket. Watched the game on iFollow. And once I knew we'd made the playoffs, I'm not going to lie, I was in tears. Anyone else in tears on Monday? I know I had goosebumps on my arms when it was announced that when Blackburn got the winner. No one else in tears?
I wouldn't say I'm in tears, but I'd be more in tears if we get promoted to the Premier League. I think that's the time to really get in tears for. I think don't get me wrong, it's a great achievement getting to the playoffs, but we should use this as a stepping stone to get back to where we belong in the Premier League, because it's been 22 years now. Being outside the top flight, and that's the time to be tears is when we get promoted, and hopefully we do. Because don't get me wrong, great achievement, but there's still more work to do.
Yeah. Here's one for you, CJ. How big was Ben Wilson's goal at Blackburn? Looking back now,
well, it's quite a big one, wasn't it? Yeah,
like a salmon.
It's massive, really. Yeah. I mean, unbelievable control. It was like watching the Vinicius and De Bruyne score their 2 goals last night. That's carbon copies.
It was better than them. What are you on about?
Well, yeah,
So,
more
this one's for
important.
Tony. Yeah, more important. This one's for Tony. Mark Robins is a Coventry legend, no matter what happens.
Correct. He is
Yeah.
up there. He's up there with Jimmy Hill. And he'll probably surpass that if he gets us promoted to the Premier League, because Jimmy Hill didn't have the problems Mark Robins has had. Mark Robins has had Sisu for all of them years.
Yeah.
And you know what? What a guy, right? So that's a proper coach, isn't it? Mark Robins is a proper coach. You know, it's all right then, you know, you get Jurgen Klopp and all that with all the money that they've got, you know, and your Guardiolas of this world. But Mark Robins has worked with Jack Nothing all those years. And we've had no Callum O'Hare since December the 26th at Sheffield United. We've had no Casey Palmer for the last couple of months. Injury after injury, with Fazdean missing for the bit. You just had Sheaf out for the bit, you know, Jamie Allen. And he's still kept that going, and there's still only one defeat in 17 games. Hey, that's nothing short of a miracle, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I say we haven't even bought one player. We've not bought one player this season.
Oh, we're in that list below. Cubs haven't bought. Yeah,
it's absolutely astonishing, isn't it, Mark? That what I mean, you know, if we don't make it now, if we don't make it to the final, it's been a ride, isn't it, Mark? It's been a ride.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're going to the playoffs under no real pressure, really. We're not expected to be in a position. Let's be honest. I mean, you know, we keep saying, looking back in the season, where we're bottom of the league after 11 games, and you know, some would say to you, be in the playoffs, you'd be laughing. I'd be laughing back then, because you know we weren't great. But no, I mean it's been fantastic, and obviously next season now we've got Doug King's come on board. Hopefully we've got a little bit of money to spend on players. I mean, the worst case scenario, we don't get promoted. We could lose key players, as has been documented on social media. So opportunity to bring in new blood with money. So yeah, I mean it'd be interesting to see. But yeah, I mean Robins is a legend. There's no question. I think if he gets us up to the Premier League, he'll be our greatest ever manager. There's no question about that.
No doubt.
Not quite greatest yet, but if he does that, that will certainly cement his legacy as being our best ever manager, without shadow of doubt.
I mean, CJ,
I think we need to remember as well. We need to remember as well. Who stood next to him as well. He, without Adi Vervash, we wouldn't be here right now, where we are. Not just for his links, but the way how the players clearly think so much of him. And how many assistant manager? I know it's the standard any player or person that song. But at the end of the day, how many assistant managers at any level get a chant like that? Chanted by 2,000 other supporters. I think what he's done is pretty special, and he's possibly he's as important as Robins, possibly more important actually. I think Lawrence has done a very good job as well, and we mentioned Kelly as well earlier. He's another one that's been very important for our rise back through the leagues, and I think the problem is we're gonna run out of space for all these statues, aren't we? That's the problem. So we've got to put that George and John one up at some point, haven't we? And then where are we going to fit everybody, all the others?
Well, I was approached by Stuart Linnell the other day. He messaged me and he says that wouldn't it be great if we as a channel and all the fans that follow us and everything else, we get it out there on Twitter, Facebook and everything to try and get a message out to Mike Ashley to name the 4 stands now. Now we've got an owner of the stadium who's just going to let football play at the ground. Would it be an idea that we could get all our listeners, get all our followers, even Sky Blue Extras followers as well, get everyone on board and we all get it out there on
Everyone,
social
yeah.
media over the next few weeks to get out to Mike Ashley to name the stands. He was saying John Sullitt stand, George Curtis stand, Jimmy Hill stand, and a Mark Robbins stand. I mean, it'd be unbelievable, wouldn't it? It'd be absolutely fantastic, wouldn't
Brilliant.
it? I mean,
I
it
think
would
it's
be
gotta
great, wouldn't it, if we could do that?
Yeah, it would be. It would be, but I think, to be honest, naming stands. I think we need to be. I think the person kind of has to have left. Really, that's my
Yeah.
personal. That's my personal opinion. And let's face it. Let's hope we never have to name the stand. The one what Forest have done, having the Clough Taylor looking over at each other, that would be pretty good, I think.
So just name three. Just name three stands. Name three stands looking over everyone else.
Well,
there we go. So whoever's watching, whoever's watching, get it out there. So we want Jimmy Hill stand, George Curtis stand, and John Sullitt stand. Let's get it all over social media, everyone. Go on, get on it now, everyone watching. Come on, get it on. Now, listen, CJ, I want to ask you a question. I mean, this takes us. I mean, League Two going away, down in the doldrums, banners, Sisu out, all this malarkey and everything else. League One and all that, when we're getting relegated in Accrington, Stanley, and everywhere like that. I mean, for me, I went out with the lad. I took my lad out the other night with Jack and Tyler. We didn't come home. We just went out straight after we got back from Middlesbrough, and to hear them young lads say what it means to them for us to get back into the Premier League. I mean, it means the world to me. All the heartbreak we've gone through. Just tell us what you think, CJ. What's it, you, mate?
It's just, it means so much to the community and to the people of Cov and the surrounding areas. Like, I go back to before we got relegated to League Two, that Checkatrade final where you had. I went into one of the schools we worked in at the time. I went back in the next day, and all the kids, one of the biggest schools in the whole country, it was primary school in Coventry, stone's throw from Highfield Road, and they're going absolutely mental about like Lee Burge and one or two others, and they actually wrote him a few letters, and I took it round to his house, and I knocked on his door. And I dropped off some beers for him as well. I had a crate of Stella, I think it was, and I handed it to him. And then, he was a bit taken back, to be honest, that somebody just turned up his house. I thought, look, I would never turn up the house normally, but I lived over the road from him. I wasn't following him. And I said, look, I'd never normally do this, but I just think you deserve it. It was a night afterwards, and he was happy with the beer. His brother was more happy with the beer, but he was just so touched by the letters from those kids that were like 7, 8 years old, and that was kind of at the start of the resurgence. Even though we dropped out the league just after that, so I think it was the weekend after, wasn't it, against Charlton? So, and then that rise back up, the schools, the community, and so on. It's just been so good, seeing the kids wearing shirts out and about. PE lessons wearing shirts and stuff like that. It's just superb, and yeah, it's just fantastic. And the big thing as well is the businesses, those small businesses, those taxi firms, those pubs and so on, those chippies, those Indian and Chinese takeaways that just have people turning up there after games that you can't imagine the drop off in trade that they had it when we were in Birmingham and when we were at Northampton. So it's just and also having one man and his dog turn up to watch us play against, I don't know, Forest Green or some other team that should be in like step 8, 9 or 10 of the pyramid. But ultimately, yeah, it's just so much better seeing even at our worst this season in the league anyway. You thought, oh God, we've only got 16,000. That's one in every two seats filled, and then you go back to way back when 1 in every 6 was filled. That's how much better it is now. So that's how I look at it, and that meteoric rise through the leagues, and we haven't done it the easy way, have we? By any stretch.
No.
But at times we've made it look easy.
Yeah, definitely. I thought League One was just unbelievable. The second season in League One was just sublime, and that's the way we got out the leagues, the way we climbed out the leagues, playing this way. Really, we got out the leagues playing this way. And when you look down the lower leagues, there's a lot of teams copying the way we play to try and get out of the league, and it worked for us. There's comment here for you, CJ. Love CJ. Seeing his flag across the world for the England games. Good lad. That's from Callum. Was that Windmill? Now, Tony, a little word from you before we go on to Mark for the last word of the night. What would it mean for you for the Sky Blues to get up to the Premier League, mate?
It'd be a dream come true, because obviously until I was 40 years of age, we were always in the Premier League, Division 1, then the Premier League. And it was an eye-opener for me when we were relegated in 2001. Remember, lost at Villa after being 2-0 up. I would remember that bloke, "We'll be back," all right, in the paper. It's never happened. And realistically, we had parachute money, but we didn't do anything with it. And we've sunk down. You know what's happened. It would make my life complete, to see us back where we rightfully belong. And and the way that it would have been done would make it even more sweeter. Saying like to Sisu, like, sod you, mate, we've still got where we belong. I really hope it can happen, but I do believe that if it doesn't happen this season, we've had a fantastic season, but I do believe it will happen within the next 3 to 4 years. Anyway, regardless of if Vic goes or all that, because you got to trust Mark Robins. He'll get played. Apparently, he's got some really quality players lined up. So obviously, depending what division we're in. So you got to trust Mark Robins, haven't you? Now, more than happy. I think he's doing a brilliant job.
It's going to make a change. It's going to make the change. It's going to make a change that Mark Robins is going to say, we haven't missed one this time. We've been able to go and get the players I wanted. Where before he's always gone, missed another one. Yeah. I've got to bring this comment in. So we're talking about naming the stands. I love this one. This is got to be the best one. Can we name the away stand Jimmy Hill stand? It'd be great to have it printed on the away tickets, especially when Sunderland are in town.
Yeah. Do you know what? I love it.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's brilliant, Rob Nichols. So the away. So okay, we've chose everyone. We've chose Jimmy Hill stand in the away end. Yes. Where's John Sullett and George Curtis going to go? Which end?
I would say either side. Yeah. And then, I mean, obviously, Mark Robins is still here. But you know where I put Mark Robins eventually, don't you? In above Singer's corner. Above Singer's corner. Because they're the ones that, Mark Robins. Put it there.
Mick Davenport's cracks me up here. He says, Miles, you should have a statue of Tyler Walker in your front garden. Yeah, I have one of them. Why not? I've got a load of gnomes in my front garden.
You've already got one.
What a lovely bloke. What a lovely bloke.
He is a lovely bloke. I like Tyler Walker. He's my mate. I love him. He's brilliant. I do like him. He's a lovely, lovely chap. Honest, I really do. And before we go, we'll get a quick chat with Mark again. But just before we do, just a couple of quick photos. So you've seen a photo of me struggling 15 minutes to go before the end. That was us at the end of the game. So that's Ken, Martin, my cousin. There's me in the background. We all wore crowns and Doug King's masks. There's some pictures of the players coming over at the end. They were really celebrating, loving it. Sky cameras were there, jumping on the old bandwagon as they do. What else we got? We got the Three Musketeers. Well, one of the Three Musketeers sat on his own at half time. He's over there with his crown on, bless him. The lads went down the front and left him all on their own. It was a lovely wet day. It was absolutely chucking it down all afternoon. It was bloody awful. But yeah, if you haven't been to Middlesbrough, there's the players' entrance there. We went in the club shop. We had a Oh no, that was the tavern before. BBC CWR were there, interviewed Sue Medlock, who's always on the coaches. She raises money and works for Martin Hospice. And there's Jack and Tyler there getting interviewed. And then the club shop, there we all are there. Just went in for some fridge magnets, didn't have any. And then we're in fancy dress on the coach. That made it into the Telegraph, Radio 5 Live as well, wanted it. Also Talk Sport. So yeah, we all had the masks on, which was an absolute cracking, just a good laugh all together. Now, Mark, before we go, for you, what would it mean, mate, living all the way down in Bedfordshire?
I mean, everything. I think being from down south and a Coventry fan, and obviously it was a bit hard back then. We're going to school full of Arsenal Tottenham fans, and you say I'm a Coventry fan, and people give you a blank look, blank expression. But it's been tough. Look, I mean, it's been tough for 20 odd years on and off the field. We all know that. It would be brilliant if we can get back to the big time. We belong in the Premier League. We were one of the founding members of the Premier League back in 1992. We were in the top flight for 34 years, from 1967 to 2001. So, we're not just a side that's been in the Premier League for 2 or 3 seasons. We were a team in the top flight for many, many seasons. So, for me, as a fan, it would be bittersweet and get back up to the big time. It mean the world to me, because after all the crap that we've been through as supporters on and off the field, now Cisa are gone. Doug King's on board. Things are looking good. The stadium and that, it would just be brilliant. It would be the icing on the cake, and as I said, it would cement the legacy of Mark Robins as a manager. And obviously, not just him, as CJ rightly pointed out, it's not just about Mark Robins; it's also about ADV Bash, Dennis Lawrence. They've all played a big part in the ongoing success of the football club. But it would be absolutely brilliant if we can get back to the big time, because we were a laughing stock. Let's make no bounds about it. We went down to League 2 and people were laughing at us, the football club. But I'll tell you now, if we get promoted, no one will be laughing at us anymore. People start to take it seriously, because I think with the club, we're definitely equipped to get back to the big time. It may not happen, as Tony rightly said, it may not happen this season, but it can do. I think within the next 3 or 4 years or 5 years, I think we'll be back. Yeah. That's why I support that's why I'm paying my £500 season ticket, because I believe that we will get back, and whatever I can do as a supporter to help us get back, that £500 could be used just to offer me a contract with someone, something, any bit of money can help the club, and obviously as a supporter, I'm more happy to do that. But it means the world to me, because I'm fed up with this club being a laughing stock. I want us to be taken seriously as a football club. I want us. When Sky are showing matches, they're not talking about the other team; they're talking about us, and they take us seriously as a football club. So, yeah, it would be brilliant, absolutely fantastic.
Wayne Vaughan's up here.
Yeah.
Good evening, Wayne. He said, "Go on."
I was going to say about that football stand. The other stand you haven't covered is Oggy. You have an Oggy stand as well, because the man has played 600 games for us. I think he's another one.
Yeah.
There you go then. So there'd be very few people. Yeah, there'd be very few people that have worked at one particular football club for as long as what he did, and he didn't leave. And then even after he left, he ended up going commentating on our games. So it's just been seamless, hasn't it? He's been there since what was it, 1984, 85? So
84.
He's been there just so long.
Yeah. Yeah, and then so there you go then. So we've got Oggy, John, George, Jimmy Hill on the away stand. So let's get it out on social media, everyone. Let's spread the word. Let's get it out to Mike Ashley. Tag Mike Ashley in and everything. Let's get these stands named, especially if we get in the Premier League. Imagine them in the Premier League and we have them names above the stands. Wouldn't it look lovely? It'd look absolutely brilliant. Wayne Vaughan's come on here, says we've had a wonderful season, no matter how things end. It has been an absolute wonderful season. It's just been. I mean, my highlight of the season was Blackpool away.
Yeah, it was mine. I'm just glad we got one more
Weekend.
game
It was
left.
just, I think. Well, we got Keno Tomo. Credit to all the Sky Blue Fans TV for the season. You have given the fans, as well as you all give us so much of your time to provide this platform for us. Cheers, Keno Tomo. We absolutely love it. It's brilliant. We have a great crack, and we love all the interaction. I mean, tonight's been absolutely fantastic. We've got that many comments. We can't get through them all, but thank you so much for messaging in. And so now, listen, we're not going to have a live show on Sunday because I'm not going to get to the ground early enough because trains are a little bit dodgy for me. So there won't be a live stream on Sunday, I'm afraid. But we will be at the game. Hopefully, we'll be at the game Wednesday, and we'll have a live stream on Wednesday from the Riverside again. And then Mark will be doing a show on Monday. So we'll talk about Sunday's game and look forward to the Wednesday's game as well. So Wes has just put it here. Wear a GoPro. Don't be daft. Can't wear a GoPro. That'd be good fun though, wouldn't it? Yeah, so I just want to say a massive thank you, Tony. Thank you for joining us, Tone.
No problems, mate. Enjoyed it.
Thank you, CJ, again. Absolutely brilliant.
No problem. Can I just say, Miles, because I it's been a bit of a tradition now. The few times I've been on, I don't know if you've noticed, but throughout this podcast, there's been like the light shining across my eyes. It's like a neon light that's gone across my eyes, and I've noticed that sign behind you there. Where did you get that from?
Well, you see, going
Neon.
across the bottom of the
Sky
screen,
blue
it's
sign.
from Neon Now. Yeah,
Neon
it's
Now.
from Neon Now.
Yeah.
.co.uk.
Yeah.
Yeah, the information's going along the screen at the bottom, and you can get a discount at the moment on there as well.
Excellent. It's tradition now, isn't it? I've always got to try and bring them up.
You've got to mention it. You got to mention it, mate. You got to mention it. But
Absolutely.
yeah, get your code there. Look, enter Sky Blue SBFTV 10 to get a discount. There you go.
And my mum
by the way, if anyone
wants a voucher.
She wants a voucher. She
My
not
mum
had it
wants
yet.
a voucher for the tavern. No, she hasn't had it yet. No.
I'll give it a Sunday. I'll give it a Sunday. We have got them. I've got them hand to hand. We will give them. And listen, if anyone out there does want to sponsor us, please do, because we're after some new equipment. If you do want to get in touch with us, you do want to sponsor us, we can give you a little ticker and I'll make an advert for you and everything. So it would be great if you could sponsor us. But that's it for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Let's hope the beautiful Sky Blues can go and win on Sunday. And I've just been told again to remind everyone not to mention about good luck to the under-21s tomorrow night. If you're going, I'll see you there. I'll give you live updates on Twitter off Will's phone because I haven't got a phone. Listen, everyone, play up Sky Blues. Let's go and get these playoff first leg under the belt. Let's go and win it. Don't care if it's 1-0, as long as we go to the away leg, winning the leg, winning the tie. I don't care. But play up Sky Blues. We'll see you soon. See you later, everyone.
Come on, City.